Hey there, gorgeous souls. Welcome back for today's message. I've got a very important one for all of us who want to take 100% responsibility for our own lives and our empowerment, and in particular, how we actually treat others and how we are treated in return. So this is going to be a powerful one for all of you who definitely want to go down the path of being the leader of your own life, and definitely being able to experience the highest possible quality of relationships. And for those of us who know what it is to have the pain of others projected onto us, particularly as children, particularly growing up, and you know what that is to really impact you in a negative way, and then have to do maybe a hell of a lot of, healing work as you grow and evolve into adulthood, then this is going to be one that you can utilize to really understand how you can stop generational pain continuing and perpetuating its cycle throughout the generations of your own family. All right, so we're really going to be taking ownership, empowering ourselves, and feeling freaking amazing by it with this new perspective. And I also want to share with you a show that I was watching recently. It's actually an Australian series. Gosh, I've forgotten the name, but if you guys want to know it, I will definitely let you know. But I'm going to tell you a story about something that happens in this series, which I think was really pivotal for understanding today's topic. So love bringing in some story into it, and as per usual, I want to hear from you guys, so definitely drop me some comments, let me know where in the world you are tuning in from, and as we go along, share your experiences, any questions you may have, and if you do find today's topic of value, you know the drill, share it with anybody, your loved ones, anybody, any groups that you might be a part of that you feel could really benefit from this message as well. Let's spread the message and let's get into the minds and the hearts of other exceptional souls just like yourself. And can't wait to dive into this one with you guys. Doing my last little quick share before we get into it and have a few more of you tuning in. I can see Data is in the house. Good to see you. Love having you here. And love it when you guys keep coming back as well. All right, nearly there. Gosh, I'm getting rid of this soon. And all right, so today's topic is one in which I want you to think about how you've been impacted by the projection of other people's internal pain, all right? And I want you to also take ownership of how you have projected your own internal pain onto others. So we're going to talk about all of that today, and that is why today's topic is entitled Externalize Your Internal Pain Constructively, or it's going to manifest itself destructively, all right? So this is what we want to do. Basically, a lot of what these messages are about is helping us to bring awareness, bring some consciousness to topics around taking responsibility for our own well-being, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, in a time where we're open to it, right? We're not totally stressed out and havoc is going on, and we can't even get beyond the challenges that we're faced in our lives. But because we have a conversation around these important topics and we address them in a time where you're feeling good, right? You're feeling empowered, you're feeling like you can learn and take information in. It's going to be a tool in your tool belt moving forward in order to make sure that when these times do come into play, you've already thought them out so that you can make a conscious decision even if you're in a chaotic experience, all right? So today's no different, and what we're really referring to is those times where you have just internalized what's going on for you. Maybe you've got some pain, maybe you've got some wounding. You know, when we don't look after ourselves, when we don't check in with ourselves, then, oh, did I just see some stars being sent? Thank you so much. Much love to you for the appreciation from Paul. Sorry, that's really exciting to me when you guys send me stars because it's Very, very meaningful. All right. So think about those times where you've had happen in your own life where somebody else has projected their unhealed pain onto you, right? Out of nowhere, right? They're just throwing abuse at you, maybe, emotionally or physically or however that happens, right? Or ignoring you or, treating you in a way that isn't conducive to your self-esteem and your empowerment and love and connection, right? And what is happening a lot of time is that person who's projecting that pain out, they have internalized that pain. They have not looked to really navigate, to really understand it, to really do the work and the healing in order to transcend it. And instead, that internalized pain that they've stuffed under the surface basically explodes out in a really destructive way. So think about those people in our lives, or maybe if it's us ourselves as well, and I've worked with a number of clients on this as well, where you feel out of control of some sort of emotional state and it's destructive in your life, right? Maybe that's anger. Maybe you don't feel like you can control your anger around others and you just feel totally lost with it, right? Like you don't know when it's going to come up. It's having really negative effects on your relationships. I've worked with people who've had real big challenges with their expression of anger that's cost them their livelihood, right? Their jobs, and definitely their families and their relationships with their children. It's a big thing, right? Maybe it's your sadness or your depression. Maybe that's the emotion that you just feel out of control of, right? You don't know how to transcend it. And basically what happens is that's kind of the manifestation of an internalized, unaddressed wound, right? And basically whatever is destructive in your life, you can look at it this way. And what we want to do is we want to have a strategy to be able to connect to and really externalize that pain in a healthy, constructive way, in a way that we're choosing to heal it and navigate it. And I wanted to really paint the picture of this by sharing with you a little piece of this Australian series that I watched a couple of episodes of, and I just really liked this particular scene and this particular episode. Again, I forget totally the name of this, might come to me, but the name of this series, Judy, you might be able to help me out with this. I know you got me onto it, right? So basically what happens is it's an Australian series and it's based around a psychiatric ward, right? And basically there's all sorts of people in this psychiatric facility and they're struggling with all sorts of different things. But this one particular episode, there was this woman, a new mother, struggling with postnatal depression. She felt like she just was depressed and sad and really struggling to look after and nurture her newborn child, right? And so she was getting support in this facility. And one of the biggest challenges for her was that nobody could see the pain that she was going through. Nobody could understand in the outside world what pain she was experiencing, right? And she felt completely isolated, disconnected, because she just looked like a totally normal human being, and people would see her with her newborn baby and think, wow, you must be so over the moon happy to have this gorgeous new baby. And she just felt really misunderstood, and it put her in this state of deepening depression, isolation, and loneliness and complete disconnection, which was perpetuating the pain and the cycle, right? And so what one of these nurses on the show did, or doctors or whoever they were that are supporting these individuals, they actually gave her a moon boot. I don't know if you know what that is, but if you've ever broken your ankle or you've injured your foot or, something to do with your leg, like it's this big kind of boot that they put on to stabilize your leg and your foot, right? And so basically he said to her, put this on, wear this outside. So when you take your baby for a stroll or whatever, wear the moon boot. And whenever somebody addresses your injury, they're seeing that must be underneath this moon boot. I want you to convert what they say and into make it as though they're speaking directly to your internal pain of what you're going through, really, right? The stuff they can't see. And basically, it was this interesting experience where basically she did go out, she wore the moon boot, and people were coming up to her and they were like, oh, they were trying to help her. They were helping her pick up her pram and get her up the stairs and saying, oh my gosh, this must be so difficult for you with what you're struggling with. Like, to be able to do all this and look after your newborn baby, and they had such compassion and empathy for her. Basically, they were thinking she had a physical injury, but she converted that into basically them having compassion and empathy for her internal wounding or injury or pain. And basically, it allowed her to feel a sense of connection, of understanding, of that taking in that empathy and that compassion, right? Because she had found a strategy to externalize her internal pain so that she was able to receive from others compassion and empathy that they wouldn't have otherwise projected her way had she not had a form of saying, hey, this is a pain for me, this is a challenge for me, I don't know how to communicate what's going on internally, but people see an externalization of that and could give her the same empathy that she required or would be beneficial for her in that way, right? So I'm not saying all of us go out there and buy ourselves moon boots, right? Or buy, the sling for our arm or put one of those neck braces on or something. But maybe you do want to do that. Maybe it would help, right? To get some compassion and empathy from other people that you wouldn't have otherwise had because they can't see what's really going on for you, right? Maybe it is a good strategy. But what I am just using that to paint the picture of is basically like nobody is a mind reader and people don't know what is going on for you. And if you just consistently internalize your pain, you're left by yourself trying to hold a beach ball underwater until it's going to explode. And like the title suggests, when you don't externalize your pain constructively, it's always going to find a way to externalize itself. And if you keep pushing it under the surface, it's going to come out in a destructive way, right? Through outbursts that we feel less than proud of ourselves for, basically. All right. And it could be very destructive to the meaningful aspects of your life, right? So some of the strategies that you might utilize that I know I personally have utilized in my own life are being able to talk it out, right? And sometimes you have somebody in your life who you can trust and you can know that they can really hold that space for you and they're not going to, weaponize your vulnerability against you later down the track. Not all of us have those people in our lives. And also a type of person who can hold space for you without making it a burden on themselves or making it, something that they take on. And now you've got to be concerned about them worrying about what's going on for you, right? That doesn't work either. So you either have those, you're lucky enough to have somebody, at least one person in your life who can hold healthy space for you and give you compassion and empathy and allow you that outlet, right? And to receive that compassion and empathy. Or you investigate people who do this work for a living, myself included, as a relationship strategist who specializes in personality psychology and helping you to identify who you actually are, what's really holding you back, what you actually want in your life and having the courage to go after it. There's plenty of people out there who are passionate about supporting you, and they can be that neutral third party who has done the work, right? And who has the tools to be able to help you generate your own tools in that realm as well. Another strategy might be just to self-connect, right? To take some deep breaths, to really check in with your emotional being, right? And to do some journaling, to Ask yourself quality questions and see what you can come up with. What's going on for me? How am I feeling right now? What triggered this sense and this emotion within me? What am I making things mean that are generating this feeling within? And to really give yourself that understanding and that compassion. There's a technique that many of you guys have heard me talk about many times, which is called the release letter technique, which is something that I've been utilizing for basically since 2013, which is a process of moving through a journaling process where you move through all the different emotions so that you can basically empty all of that out and really process it, right? So you're bringing out the internal challenges that we're not very conscious of into your conscious awareness so that you can utilize it constructively rather than have it come out when you didn't even expect it, right? And basically just communicating about it in some way, shape, or form, right? That's obviously the best. To consciously choose to externalize your pain in a constructive, resourceful way rather than just keep sweeping it under the rug and keep denying what's really going on and then having these outbursts that create destruction in the quality areas of your life, right? And I want to also mention that there have been many scientific studies that have proven that when you have a loved one with you, when you're experiencing pain, how the pain actually diminishes. And they did these studies with some women. I think they've done it around a lot of women. They actually produce some electric shocks on these women, basically. And they tested the woman being alone in a room by herself, getting this electric shock, and her level of pain experienced versus having her partner in the room and then holding her partner's hand or a loved one's hand, basically. And pain was drastically diminished, not because the shock was any less, but because of the presence and the connection between her and a loved one. All right, so just let's utilize the knowledge available to us, the wisdom available to us in a really constructive way that will set us free and get us consciously designing the quality of life that we actually want rather than defaulting into these destructive patterns and feeling hopeless and helpless in the pursuit of our fulfillment in our lives, all right, and in our relationships in particular. All right, so that's me going off on my rant today. I hope it is of value to you. I hope it gets you thinking about, where in your life you've been, sweeping your internal pain under the surface, and then it keeps manifesting in this projection of pain onto the people that are usually the closest to you, usually cop it the most, right? And in whatever realm it's destructive to you right now. And also look at the people around you, right, in your own life, and be able to discern, is this somebody's projection of their own internalized pain that they're not taking care of, right? They're not healing from, and they keep projecting onto me their pain, their hurt, their wounding, and really think about addressing that in a really loving and compassionate way where you can support that person in order to actually heal so that they can no longer externalize that pain in that destructive way that you're copping the brunt of, and instead are, more inclined to actually externalize that pain in healthy, constructive, healing ways so that you can go about creating the highest quality of relationship and not be somebody's punching bag, right? I know a lot of us have experienced that in all sorts of our relationship dynamics. So hope this is of value to you. I'm always available to you guys. So if there is ever something that I can support you with or guide you in the right direction with, or you've got a personal challenge that you would like some shift in perspective with, I do make myself available to you guys to be able to connect and guide you in the best way possible. So you can always reach out to me. Best strategy is to shoot me an email at vanessa@vanessajanepatrick.com, or you can shoot me a messenger message, however you want to do it, but I'll look forward to connecting with those of you who would like some deeper support on that. All right, let me check in with you guys. As I said, if you have found this message of value, please do share it and definitely drop me some comments, say hi, let me know where in the world you're tuning in from, and definitely can't wait to hear from you guys. All right, so I've got Data in the house and Say and Paul. Thank you again so much for sending through those stars and appreciation. Such a gift that you guys give to me by sending those stars, because then Facebook knows you value hearing content like this, and I get to get out to the minds and hearts of other exceptional souls, like I always say, just like you. All right, so thank you so much again, Paul. And Judy's in the house, and Christina and Alicia and Eusebio, I don't know how to say your name, but I love having you here. And Donna is here as well, and Kevin. So good to have each and every one of you guys tuning in live today. Like I said, I really hope today's message has supported you and empowered you. Reach out anytime. And my message, as per usual, is, wait a minute, we've got a question. Data, what are some of your own favorite ways of externalizing pain in a healthy manner? Yeah, awesome question. Thank you for asking. Like I mentioned, I used to start actually with asking myself quality questions that I did for 2 years straight to really build that muscle of connecting into my internal world, so that I'm able to discern if there's something going on, right? Because I got really good at deceiving myself into happiness and everything's great all day long, right? And so what I actually did was I did a journaling practice morning and night that you may want to give a go. And basically, I ask myself every day, what is one thing that I am grateful for about myself, right? To connect in and build a quality relationship, a trusting relationship with yourself, right? Where you know you've got your own best interests at heart. I know it sounds weird, but you really do have this relationship with yourself that you have to establish the quality of. Then I ask myself, what is one thing I forgive myself for? And basically, this is being able to reflect and have self-compassion and building that muscle. And what is one thing today that I am proud of myself for? And basically by doing this, and then at nighttime, I just listed out, what did I learn today and what am I grateful for, right? And so basically having a strategy like this, you're opening up the dialogue between your externalized self, right, and your internal world. And as you start to build that relationship stronger and stronger in a positive and healthy way by having a practice like that, for instance, your internal world becomes much more of in your conscious awareness, right? And so by doing that, you can actually have a quicker response time in terms of internal pain so that you can bring it out. And what I used to do is I'd become, and it works differently for other people, but for me, I would just start not feeling great, right? And so that's what I'd notice first of all. I just don't feel good. And so then I'd ask myself, well, what emotion am I feeling right now, right? And it might be, I'm feeling anxious. All right. And then I'd ask myself, well, what triggered that anxiety? What happened that made me feel that way in my external world? And identify, well, I had this conversation with this person and they said this, and then I instantly felt anxious. And then asking yourself, well, what did I make this mean that is making me feel anxious, right? And identifying that. And then I'd ask myself, well, how do I actually want to feel, right? And, if I want to feel fulfilled, I want to feel confident, right? Well, what would I have to do? What meanings would I have to create in order to experience that, right? So looking at yourself as the system, right? There's these different cogs of the system. You've got your thinking, you've got your feelings, and you've got your actions. So looking at identifying what's going on in each of those areas, what could I shift in order to generate a different result, and also to identify what is going on under the surface and go about some of that healing, right? And there's a whole bunch. We could have a whole different way of doing that. But basically, another strategy might be to just move your emotions, right? So moving your emotions is being able to recognize that your physical body is housing your emotions. And so a lot of the time you can move beyond and externalize the pain through just movement, right? Like by going and breaking through some physical challenge, by pushing your body past its current limits, by breath work, right? And really tapping into those emotions. There's so much available to you, and the point is to find what works for you. And I so appreciate the question, Data. Hope that was of value. And Judy, thank you so much for the stars as well. Love you guys. Really, really appreciate you guys sending through those stars. Like I said, it really does help and support what I'm doing, so that Facebook wakes up and and goes, oh, all right, people want to see this. And so thank you so much. All right, my sign-off message, as per usual, is to make sure that you go out there and you honor your authenticity, be true to who you are, know what you want, go after it, right? Definitely go intimately deep, right? Get off the surface, really let people into who you actually are. Let people see that. Desire to really get into understanding and being curious with those people around you that you want a high quality of relationship with. And finally, know what your gifts are. Discover them, develop them, deliver them, right? Contribute your gifts meaningfully and purposefully. And if any of you would like any support in any of those areas, that's what I specialize in. It would be an honor to help and support you on your own personal journey. So reach out. All right, that's it from me today, guys. I will see you in an upcoming live, and I've got lots planned ahead for you guys. So keep looking out. Make sure that you are definitely subscribed to this channel, so you're liking the Vanessa Jane Patrick Awareness Transformation contribution page. Oh God, that's a mouthful. And make sure that you have got your notifications turned on so you can join me for an upcoming live. All right. Much love to each and every one of you, and I will see you very soon.